Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's been a long, long week in fantasy, fellas. Long, long week. A lot of stuff going on. And I just figured out why, I just recorded this video once before and it didn't take, and I figured out why, whatever. But the first video was perfect. Funny, timing, everything. And I gotta do it all over. So hopefully I can duplicate everything. Anyway, listening to my man Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers, because it's been a very interesting week in fantasy football, in the Baker's Dozen fantasy football. This is the week of the fool, as you like to say. Michael McDonald, you'll hear the hook in a little bit, what a fool believes. Lots of trades going on. I guess we'll start out on a positive note. There's been a lot of good activity in the league, lots and lots of trades and trash talking and offers and waiver wire pickups. You guys have been raping the waiver wires, man. It's like really, really impressive. Very happy with that. But I gotta talk. And another thing about the first video, I was here by myself. And there's no kids running around, no wife, no nothing. It was perfect. And now it's a freaking madhouse here. So you're gonna hear a lot of stuff in the background, namely my beautiful daughter Marley. You hear her running around. What a fool believes. Gotta start off with my man Brian Richardson, Philadelphia's finest, the man, the myth, the legend. Got raped this week, as I would like to say, but whatever, to each his own. It's his team, he can do what he wants with it. But you guys can't say anything, can't ever say anything about any of my trades again until y'all address the big 7-foot, large-eared, just half a knee having bastard here in San Antonio, Tim Duncan. This guy, I don't care if he is an MVP and champion and all other crap. His poop stinks just like the rest of us, and that trade was bogus, man. He told me he pushed his kids down, chopped his daughter in the throat, drop kicked his son, get into the computer to accept that trade, man. And y'all hadn't said a word about it. But let me trade Jesus Christ for a freaking second generation iPhone, and y'all talking about some, I done cheated, I done this. Corey, Dane, John, Qua, Lardary, all you guys. And ain't nobody chirped or said a word about this. Whatever. But anyway, Brian, he traded Arian Foster and Brandon Jacobs for Cincinnati's Cedric Benson. What a fool believes, man. The wise man has the power, and Tim was obviously the wise man in that trade. But anyway, I digress. I guess it can turn out to be good, Brian. I mean, maybe you can see into the future and we can't. So maybe it can work out. I mean, I guess if, the Jews and the Palestinians can work things out, Republicans and Democrats can work it out and get together, black women and black men, maybe they can get together. If black women and black men can get together, then this trade can work out. But we'll see whatever happens with it, man. I'm just pissed that nobody said a word about it. But if I make a good trade, everybody say I'm cheating because I got family in the league. Not fair, but I guess that's just the price of being a commissioner. But anyway, moving on. Gotta wrap up week 2 real quick before we move on to week 3, man. I'm really pissed about that. What a fool believes. Anyway, week 2 we had the Bird Gang. Not even going to talk much about this, about myself. I mean, I'm Lord of the Rings for a reason. I'm 2-0. I took on my man Qua, even though he gets props for changing his name to the Bird Gang. Because anybody that rides with my Eagles, ride or die, you my man, 50 grand. So I'm happy with that. But Qua, you're not going to beat me, bro. 127 to 105, I believe it was, as I try to get to my computer to change some songs around. And how Qua and the Kevin Cobb experiment lasted, 23 points, whatever. Vincent Jackson finally hooked up with Phillip Rivers for me on route to 29.2 points, making me look like a fantasy genius in the process. Moving on to Moneymaker and the Tri-State Birds. Now this one's really interesting because, as my phone is ringing, this one's really interesting because Corey, so many years has been done on draft day. All kinds of papers everywhere, and he drafts a bum of a team. This year, he has a squad. Case in point, he lost to John this week, 123 to 121, but he left a ton of points on the bench, namely Jeremy Maclin and his 29.2 points and dropping that first down on 4th down, and the Eagles were driving with my man Mike Kafka, but that's another point. Moneymaker was lit. I'm sorry, Corey. Corey had 40 points from Tom Brady. 40.3 points. That man is definitely back in the MVP race. And Corey is riding Tom Brady's horse like Giselle Bundchen or whatever. So keep it up, Corey. Maybe you can get to the playoffs this year. LaShawn McCoy, 23.6 points, and the Falcons D chipped in with 15. For Team Moneymaker, who still has the best picture of any of you bums on the league. Good job, John. Aaron Rodgers is in the MVP race as well with 30.3 points, 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and it was a solid effort as Matt Forte, Ahmad Bradshaw, Calvin Johnson, Stevie Johnson, the kicker Vinatieri, and the Patriots all scored in double figures, helping John pad that 123.7 point score. Good job, John. We'll see how you handle that in week 3. Moving on to the Garden State greatness or lateness, because I'm starting to see a little bit of front runner tendency in my man Dave Larderi. In the other league, he was talking trash all the time, putting up funny messages on the board, funny pictures about yours truly, the commiss, Big Meech. And now all of a sudden he's 0-2, and he has the same number of messages on the board as he does wins in this league. I ain't heard him. I mean, he's quiet as a church mouse right now. I don't understand that. Are you Chris Webber, Dave Lardieri? Are you only going to talk when you're up 20 points? Or are you going to, talk no matter what the situation is? I'm watching you, brother. I'm going to see if you're a little front runner or whatever. I mean, you did go to Wake Forest and roomed with Tim, so we'll see. Anyway, the Garden State lateness, as I like to call them, didn't really have anybody jump off the page at anything. Mike Wallace had 18.6 points. So did Ryan Matthews. Those were the 2 lone bright spots. But nobody else did anything. And he has Chad Henne as his quarterback, so maybe that's why he's silent. Off constantly. Actually, I got to go back. That's a really funny name. My man Tim Duncan, even though he raped Bronze in that trade or whatever, did take his commissioner's lead and he what's the name? Changed his name, but it was really, really cool because I changed my name in one league to Eventual Champion. So when people say, "Who'd you lose to this week?" I lost to the Eventual Champion. And Tim, realizing his team is a little skeptical right now, but maybe not thanks to Bronze, changed his name to Off Constantly. So they say, "Who'd you beat?" And they said he'd be able to say, "I beat Off Constantly." Very funny. I got a good laugh out of that. That's the only thing that kept you in this league, Tim. No rapings or beatings are allowed, but the name change was hilarious. So, I kept you in there. Beat Off Constantly. Rex Grossman, but you got Grossman as your quarterback. Trouble there. That's all that bear stuff going on. 291 and 2 touchdowns, but he found the 2 interceptions. Not doing well there. Rashard Mendenhall found in the end zone, 13.8 points. And Miles Austin, 33.1 big points behind 3 touchdowns grabs for the Cowboys, but he hurt his hamstring, so Timmy's going to have to be without the services of Senior Miles Austin for 4 to 6 weeks, and we'll see how he adjusts and the like. Moving on to the man all this is about, Mr. Bronze PA Monopoly Richardson. This guy, I don't really understand what's going on with him, but well, first of all, I can see what's going on. He started Arian Foster. I mean, if you did any sort of homework from like the second week in preseason on, you realize that he has a torn hamstring or a strained hamstring, and he's not 100%. Probably wouldn't want to be starting him. But that's probably one of the reasons you're 0-2 right now. I don't know, my cousin Alana said you were like, a genius at this fantasy stuff, and you're always on it. Not starting out too well for you, brother. But I got hope for you because you're from Philly, and you're a cool dude. I met you, so we'll see. But look, Eric Blount, good draft pick. Found the end zone twice en route to 19.1 points. Percy Harvin didn't do much this week. Plexico Burris, I think he might have been injured or sat because he got a big donut. And Hines Ward had 3.3 points. You really need to update your receiving core if you want to get into the win column there, Bryans. But I'm sure you're going to make some adjustments this week. For Team Dre Day, 132.3 points. His team rocked and rolled this week. Jay Cutler, I don't know. I might have saw him sitting on the treadmill recently. I'm not too sold on that, but CJ 2000 or CJ 2K didn't do much today, but he still, Dre, put up 132.3 points behind Javid Best and Larry Fitzgerald, both scoring over 20 points. Jordy Nelson and Brandon Marshall chipped in with double figures, and the Lions defense had 26.7 big points. Lending credence to Dre's statement that his week 1 ass whipping at the hands of yours truly was a fluke. I doubt it, but his team did rep in week 2. We'll see how they fare in week 3. the black card, gas card dudes from Houston. My man Dane, who's been out of commission for a week or whatever, had one funny post on the board. We've yet to hear from him. He got smacked by Team D Block, and Team Who Wants It with D Block is definitely repping this year. Defending champions coming out swinging. They got a balanced attack from everybody on their roster, and even got a donut out of Antonio Gates and still put up a $130. Might have to put you on my radar as a team to watch along with Corey's team, but as of right now, Kenny Britt found the end zone again in a big way. It's a great draft pick. I remember you guys drafted him late. Good job. Andre Johnson, best receiver in the game, found the end zone. Darren Sproles has been solid for New Orleans, and Michael Turner and Ben Roethlisberger both scored over 20 points. But the Jets' defense is what did it for Team D-Block. Again, the Jets paying big dividends for Team D-Block. They score over 32 points with four interceptions, 2 sacks, and a safety. Big things. The Blackwater Black Card boys were led by Michael Vick and Peyton Hillis, both over 20 points, but no one else other than Joseph Adai, he barely got in the double figures. No one else got in the double figures, and the 49ers defense didn't pan out like they did in week 2. Teddy Ginn couldn't do it again as they only scored 14.5 points. So Dane has some work to do, both on his team and on the message board, if he wants to keep up with the trash-talking label he has. And San Antonio, my bad, your fault. Badly in need of a name change. I hope you guys are liking the little 80s mix I threw on with you guys. You know, I gotta change it up. Can't listen to rap on hardcore all the time. 80s was the best decade of all time, and hope you guys agree. Babe, get that door. The freaking Ricans lost this week, and they lost Tony Romo and Jamal Charles. So it was a huge week of injuries for my man Sam. But knowing him and judging by the look of the message board or the trading block and all that stuff, Sam is not wasting any time, not letting any grass grow under his feet when it comes to changing the face and the look of his team. This guy is a fantasy guru. He gets much props. Gets many props this week as he has been changing his team around with reckless abandon. This guy I look for to make the playoffs in spite of losing Jamal Charles, his first pick. And Sam, as a little side note, not talking trash, just showing you it can be done. I once made the playoffs at 6-8, and I once lost Tom Brady, my first pick, on the first week of fantasy football, and I still regrouped to win the championship that year. So kudos to what you're doing this week, brother. Lots of action. I love it. I love it, man. So keep it up and good luck the rest of the season. Darren McFadden is a great piece. This guy's, playing with reckless abandon right now, 24.3 points. And you got to do something about that Bills defense. I'm sure if you haven't dropped him already, you will and be picking up somebody else. So you guys check your inboxes for Sam's trade messages because he's definitely going to be calling you in the near future. Matt Schaub for San Antonio, my bad, your fault, led the way with 23.2 points, along with the Steelers defense at 28 points. And Sam Hilliard looks to be making a little bit of headway with his team there. He's 1-1, got a big game out of Ray Rice. We'll see how he fares in week 3. Also, Noah touched on a lot of different things there, but definitely want to give you guys kudos for the things you've been doing, the trades and message boards and all the activity. Keep it up, man. You guys are doing great, making the commissioner proud. Definitely use those injury reserve slots because the tiebreaker stuff that we talked about last week is very important. I guess that's really about it, man. I've been talking a long time. I love to do that. But good luck the rest in week 3, fellas. Keep it up. Try some of those other ESPN games, too. I did the Pigskin Pick'em and the Survivor Pool. Not doing too well, but if you want to compete against me on those things, my username is ESPN Leak. ESPNLEEK. And we can compare scores and stuff in the other games they have there. They're kind of fun. So good luck in week 3. Keep up all the good banter and trades and waiver wire pickups. You guys are raping the waiver wire, man. I've never had to use a waiver before because no one would do it, but I better do it this year because you guys aren't letting anybody, fly under the radar, which is good stuff. So keep it up. Good luck. It's your Commissioner Leak signing off. I'm out. Peace.